Well, let's just wait to see a couple people show up here on this wonderful rainy Saturday night. It's probably going to be a short one, but we'll see. What's up, Mr. Mike? How are you? How's life treating you, buddy? Everything good? I really need to clean off this desk. Just fine, you guess. It doesn't sound too convincing. I'm not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. Waiting to. That's a funny picture. Don't think it's going to work. Yeah, I've just been doing a little job searching, seeing what I can find. I made a AutoZone is driving me senile. What, trying to get help there or working there or what? Hey, Steven, what's going on, buddy? How's your evening, sir? Yeah, so I did we've got an account with the local sheriff's department um, in the city where I work. And they brought one of their PPV Tahoes in with transmission burn up, and it burnt the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch and the 4, 5, 6 clutch up, and of course there was metal in the case everywhere. So I basically pulled the thing completely apart, cleaned everything, basically overhauled it, replaced the damaged stuff, built a new pump for it, got a new torque converter, and some clutches. Anyway, customer pay on a job like that's almost 16 hours. And warranty time paid me 6 hours to do that. And I pretty much made the decision that that was enough. I'm tired of getting bent over by warranty for doing something right, and I feel like I'm getting penalized, and I'm not going to let my quality of my work suffer because GM doesn't feel like it needs to pay any more than that. I'm fed up with it. So it's time for me to move on. A seat belt that won't retract on an 03 Tahoe. More than likely, Stephen, if it's one of those, you'll have to replace it. Usually the thing gets gummed up with crap and it just over age. So you'd be surprised, a lot of the seatbelt stuff you can still get new from GM. Sometimes you can still find them in salvage yard or pick and pull or something like that. But yeah, so old Smitty's been on a job hunt, looking for something better. I hate to leave there, in the same instance, just because you work somewhere long enough and it kind of becomes family, and it's hard to leave a family. I like the people I work there with. I just don't like getting bent over. You know, I'm worth more than that. At least I think I am. So I've been looking. I did. I wanted to look halfway decent if, you know, I get a couple of job interviews and that kind of stuff. So I went and got it lowered today. Feels good too, because it's getting flipping. It's hot down here right now. It's not really hot. It's just humid as all get out. And of course, it's been raining like crazy here the past couple of days. We just got done with a little bit of a thunder shower. Probably about half hour ago. Mike, I thought about it, but the way YouTube pays, you don't get that much off of something. I mean, you have to have a lot of people viewing your stuff, and you have to have a lot of people subscribe to it to actually make it worth your while. And I'm talking, you got to have a good 50 to 100,000 subscribers, and you know, tons of views on your stuff that you put out. And I just weren't getting that many views. I think I've got one video out there that I posted probably, it had to have been 3 or 4 years ago. One of my first videos. It hit 100,000 views, and it was a repair video that I couldn't believe it. It was like cluster diagnosis on an 03 to 06 Silverado, Tahoe, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know I'm close to 4,000 subs, but you know, there's too many variables right now, and I have to have health insurance. So, you know, Smitty's not a walking view of health. I mean, I'm doing okay, but I have to have the health care. So it's not something that I can feasibly do and be able to support the family. I can't do it, especially with that jack off that we got in office that's managed to run the economy amok. It's taken more on both the wife and I just to make everything work. I mean, we're doing okay, but there's just not a lot of extra right now. You know, in fact, I've got a ton of videos that I've recorded. I just haven't had time to sit down and edit them and get them out there. Plus, I picked up doing stuff for the church. I'm doing their social media, which is kind of stale right now. And I don't know, in that church, it's kind of tough. I've been working on their YouTube channel to try to get it picked up and going, because at first they want to record their oh shoot, the service. They want to record the service and put it out there on YouTube. Well, they wanted to put it on their website as a watch, but when I got to the website, what they had done is they were posting all the videos to the website. The website's only got 2 gig of storage. And so it had filled up the website. You couldn't post anything more on there. So what I did is I changed it. I made the website point to the YouTube channel and not just posting them all on YouTube. And so they've been coming out trying to get everything caught up every Tuesday and Thursday. And of course, I do the Sunday service and I do the sermon on Sunday, obviously, and get it posted out there. And so far that's working pretty good, but I don't have a real big like Facebook presence or anything like that. Stephen, I don't know. I'd have to check on Monday or something like that. I'm not sure. I can't. They changed something in the program, and so I can't access the parts catalog. But anyway, so, and I found out, doing their upload on their video, most of the time, recording a video in 1080p, which is what you view on the screen all the time, it ends up being a couple of gig worth of video that I upload, which is it's usually about an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. And when I tried to do it up there at the church, they've only got like 20 or 25 meg upload speed, which is absolutely terrible for trying to get a video uploaded. It takes hours to get it uploaded. And here at my house, I've got 50 meg upload, and it still took an hour and a half because I just brought it home and did it from house. So I've got to talk to the board and see if I can get them to change the speed of the internet there. And I'm going to donate one of my old computers and see if I can get a software, let me buy some software and a few other computer odds so I can do what they want to do, and be able to record and store and that kind of stuff and have all that there. Hey Doc, how are you? Didn't see you sneak in. I was sitting there rambling on. I'm just talking about how frustrated I am with my work. And no, I didn't get a video for you, Doc. Was that supposed to be in my email? Was that what that was? If it was, I didn't get anything that came across. Let me peek real quick. I don't remember where I seen that. That's some adhesive to fix my taillight that came off. There you go. You should be able to use, don't get anything real aggressive, Toothless, I'm going to tell you, because you want to be able to get that thing apart if you have to. I can't remember what they call that stuff, but it's kind of like a tarry substance. I don't know if you can get it from Home Depot or not, but it's made by 3M. But I'm sure they'll have something equivalent there. Yeah, something like that. It's a strange number, but it's the same stuff that they use to put the taillight lenses on, or any of the lenses on GM stuff. It's kind of like a rubbery stuff. If you get it warm enough, it becomes pliable where you can get it apart. 2011 Cruise with 42K on it for $3,000. Man, that's low mileage for a 2011, and yeah, that's pretty decent price, really. All right, man. Have it. Yeah, you too. Have yourself a good afternoon, good weekend. I knew what you meant. It's all good. Toothless, you can find a lot of that stuff at O'Reilly's too. Um, they'll have a lot of that stuff at O'Reilly's. They carry a lot of 3M stuff through there. Um, Sent the video to your email of the fuel pump. I must have not got it because I just looked in there and I didn't see it in there. Oh, was that the picture of it that you showed me? No, that wasn't it. Let me go back in here. Oh, there it is. I love it. I've never seen anybody peel a floorboard on a van yet to do a fuel pump, but by golly, that'll work. That's awesome. I'll have to watch that after the stream. That's fantastic. Yes, sir. I don't blame you though, because yeah, you're not lying. I remember doing one of those fuel pumps on a van on a lift, and those flipping tanks are like monstrous. They hold like 40 gallons, and they're like run from just behind the front door to the rear axle. I mean, they're huge. And if they're any kind of gas in it, they're next to impossible to hang on to, not unless you actually got the equipment to do it. Oh, is that the one that your boss just lost her wife? Is that the same car? I'm assuming. Because the Cruises weren't bad cars. The biggest thing is people just neglected them. But if they're taken care of, they'll run for a good long time. I think the biggest problem we had with those was the water pump would leak on them. They revised it and come up with a different side. The water outlet would leak on the left side of the cylinder head, and the hose coming out of the top. And then they had one where they had the coolant bottle would leak out of the bottom of it. It separated the seam. But those are the only real problems we had with those. Occasionally you get one that the turbo goes out, but not very often, unless you got one with a 1.8 in it. If you got the 1.8 in it, that's a timing belt motor and it's naturally aspirated. I don't think we had hardly any trouble with those. Yeah, Mike, but they couldn't run fuel injection off of a mechanical pump that was mounted on the side of the block. Now, even the new ones that got the high pressure pump underneath the intake runs off the back of the camshaft. Those are still got to have a low pressure pump in the tank to supply the fuel to the high pressure pump. Foxy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Turd mongrel? I don't think that way, Doc. You know, the good Lord has a plan for all of us. And lately, uh, I've just had a lot of unanswered my questions myself on what I'm supposed to be doing and why things are going the way they are. Um, I feel like I need to be closer to church. Um, I see a lot of these. It seems like people have forgotten what the faith is and how much this country was founded on the basis of God. And it sickens me to see things going the way they are. And I have trouble dealing with it because I don't quite understand why people choose to be the way they do. And why, I don't know, just a lot of whys. Well, Mike, it's kind of tough. My wife is not quite, I think she believes, but I'm not sure that she believes like I do. Um, she, I think she believes more that it's unfair the way he called her parents home. She never has quite gotten over losing her mom, which I totally can't relate. I mean, I can relate because I lost my dad, but fortunately, I still have my mom. Um, but I guess she feels abandonment, and the only thing I can do is be there for her, do the best I can. Um, but it's not all roses and rainbows, that's for sure. But we're doing the best we can. Yeah, and it's Doc, it just seems like it's getting worse. And I mean, it's just the ridiculousness and how you see true evil with everything that's going on. Um, in our government right now, where they're so hell bent on getting one person out because they know that he speaks the truth. They know that he he's going to interrupt their way of life and expose them for the crooks that they really are. And so they're coming at them with everything they got, and whether or not it be true or not. And it's really sickening. I like to make my own opinion on things, and there could be. I know that the 45 is not perfect. If any of us were perfect, we'd be God Himself, and we're not. So, but it's so tough to be raised on faith. It's not tough to be raised on faith, but it's tough to see it being challenged as much as it is. I think that's probably the big thing. Yeah, uh, Doc, I totally agree with that. I mean, he created, um, it's just like this transgenderism and all these weirdos coming out, and I can say they're weirdo because I mean, my opinion is that there is only two genders. There's male and female. There's an X and a Y chromosome. That's it. I mean, you were born with it. You can't change it. You can try to alter it, but you're not going to change it. Um, it, it, and the fact that they're trying to push it on the kids, luckily I don't have any kids. I mean, maybe the good Lord knew what he was doing when he didn't bless us with any, but um, it's to see what they're doing to the kids just makes me sick. And, I don't have to agree with it, which I don't. But in the same instance, I mean, that's something else. They're coming at you with full head of steam, because you don't believe the way they do. You're a bad person and everything else. I mean, that's just, I mean, get on with it, really. The good Lord loves all people. Um, doesn't matter what color their skin is. Doesn't matter female, male. I mean, it doesn't matter. He loves all people. And, the world would be a better place if there wasn't so much hate. And I really believe that social media has a big part of that. And you get these big tech companies that are controlling the narrative and what they want you to hear and see on the TV. And it's all intertwined. So, I mean, you really can't believe um, what you see and hear on the TV, um, or anywhere for that matter, because you don't know if it's true or not. Just like there was somebody else that was uh, pulling up the Presidential Records Act. Um, one of my buddies from high school, he's kind of politically motivated, and he absolutely hates the 45. And he um, he was saying, "Oh, well, the 45 told a lie," and then he was bringing up the Presidential Records Act, and then there was some fact checker, some kind of fact check on this as well. They were talking about the Presidential Records Act and that those records belong to the federal agency. And okay, that's all fine and dandy. So if he took some and put it in Mar-a-Lago, then he committed a crime. Okay, well, what happened about Uncle Joe with all those 4 different places that he's got uh, classified documents in, and he's got them in 4 different places in Ukraine and in Chinatown, um, one of his other houses, and then I guess the one with the Corvette, they already picked him up or something like that. Uh, there's there's no there is no equality amongst the the laws that they set up. I mean, it seems to all be going in against the 45. I mean, anybody that was blind could see it. I mean, it's just blatantly evident. And, it's one of those deals. What's good for the goose is, in this case, is not good for the gander. And so it pisses me off because it it's wrong, and they know it's wrong, and they'll flat lie right to your face. Yeah, I seen some of it. It was identifying as animal. New Jersey, 2 schools had to put litter boxes in the classrooms. Really? Yeah, Doc, that's exactly what I was talking about. Where when old Joe was a senator, he had a lot of them top secret. So how did he get it off skiff or shift or whatever they call that thing? Yeah, that come on. I mean, it's obvious that they're doing it just to try to get him out of running because they know that if he just keeps gaining steam and stuff like that, they're pretty much screwed when it comes to election time. Because the people have had enough of this lying deceitfulness. You know, it's gonna get them. It's coming ahead. You know, and I'm not saying that if something does happen to Trump that he doesn't have somebody in place that's going to do it, but all they're trying to do is get him out of the race, uh, they don't have so they can keep their way of life. Because if he gets in and he's the 47, uh, yeah, shit's going to hit the fan. That's all I can say. Um, there'll be some glorious times and there's going to be some rough times, but uh, in my opinion, the thing that needs to be fixed the most is our election integrity, because you know that they cheated on the last ones. That's just my opinion. Um, so uh, if we don't get that straightened out, uh, we'll never have a free society to vote again. I mean, it won't happen. Yeah, see, I didn't follow him much before when he was a senator. I just never did. And you know, it was kind of funny. Sean Hannity had old Gavin Newsom on one of his shows the other day on the way home in the afternoon, and he flat asked him. I says, "Do you think Biden is competent enough to run for president?" And he flat said, "Yeah. Look at all the good things he's done. Look at this, and this, and this, and this, and this." I'm just like, "What? Are you delusional?" And then he said, "Well," and Sean asked him, "Do you think that you'd ever get in the race?" So no, no, never. I'm like, this guy is a loon. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's frustrating nonetheless. Any way you look at it, any way you slice it, it's just frustrating. I just hope that everybody just wakes up and the thing that would just humor me the most is when it comes time for the election, and all these illegals and stuff that they're going to give voting rights to, and not get them out of the country. Um, it would crack me up to no end to see their whole scheme of that extra voting people um, backfire on them. So Mike, I would definitely agree with that statement. We do need to make common sense more common for sure. All right, Toothless. You have a good night, brother. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. You know, that's another strong topic that I'm kind of um, against altogether. I mean, I understand incest and rape and that kind of stuff, um, and how that's wrong. But to me, life begins at conception. Um, as soon as as soon as the fishy meets the womb, and you get two cells that collide, and they start multiplying, that's a life. It may not be heartbeat yet, but it's alive. It's growing. It's grown inside. That to me is a fetus is the same as a child. Um, you know, I think abortion is wrong in every aspect. That's just my opinion. Um, there are huge amounts of people that would love to adopt a child that can't have children. Um, there's lots of mothers that don't deserve children because they never wanted them to begin with, but they laid down and bared it all, and then they get a guy that said, "Oh, I don't want no kid. I'm out of here." Well, you know what? If you want to play, you need to pay, um, and that goes both directions. Um, it, but to me, abortion's wrong. That's just me. Yeah, yeah, Doc, I agree to that. You know, if you get a single cell organism, period, that's a life. I mean, you know, you get a lot of the scientists that you quiz on how they think uh, the world was created, and it's funny because you get them on the part, well, how did you think that the world became a world? I mean, everything had to be created. You think about that. Think about all the things that we know about the universe, the planet we live on, the planets we don't live on. How is science going to explain how that started? I mean, just think how deep that is. Think about how that started. How did the sun get created? How did the planets get created? You can't tell me that science created that. It just poof, and all of a sudden, oh, well, we got this planet. No, that's not the way that works. There, it's all created in God's eyes, in my opinion. He created Adam and Eve, and from there it bred into all the other all the other things. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, I being a Christian and growing up with the Bible, I don't know any other thing that makes sense to me. I just it just doesn't. Oh, sorry, I'm on my soapbox tonight. Apparently, I I just there's so many questions right now that in my mind that make me wonder, wonder who wrote the book of love. Um, I I'm rambling now. I'm just getting tired, but I think about things that are going on with the world right now, and I'm just hoping that I make the right decisions. And I'm kind of leaving it up. Well, I am leaving it up to God, and that He'll point me in the right direction and help me make the right decisions. Mike, you bring up a valid point. That's another one of those questions that probably will never be answered. Um, you know what? Let's do a little deal here. All right, so yeah, one day we'll ask him. Here's what I pulled up. This is on Bible Study Tools, and it basically says one of the most common questions an atheist may try to pose in a Christian is, where did God come from? In other words, who created God, or when did God begin? The question itself is actually misleading because of God's eternal nature. God didn't spontaneously appear, He has always been there. When a Christian tends to establish God's eternal nature, the atheist may follow up with a very different question. But doesn't everything have to be created to exist? So, how can God exist if He wasn't created? Again, that question will run into a number of problems. First, if something supposedly created God, then who created that being? Who created God? The series of beings creating the next being would go on and inferium, which of course would be impossible. No, just as stated, Aristotelian philosophy. We need an unmoved mower to logically stop this ad infinitum series of one creator continuously being created. We need God. And it goes on and on and on. It's kind of an interesting read. The author on it was Hope Bollinger. It was dated fairly recently too, May 19th of this year. That's a website called BibleStudyTools.com. It's kind of neat stuff. That is correct. And that is in the Bible. He is the Alpha and Omega. He is the everlasting. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. You know something, I can tell you that it's nice to be around people that do believe in faith and that aren't afraid to talk about God. Because if you've ever been around a lot of them, most of the time those people are much happier. They're more grounded than I could say most of them, and you know, they understand a lot of stuff. You know, and thankfully that being of faith has gotten me through a lot of things that that I've had difficulty with. And, you know, I'm sure I'll get through this one with him also, but there's so many questions in my life right now that seem to be going unanswered, and things I ponder. And you know, that's normal with everybody, but I've had some strange dreams lately too, and just some really strange ones. Or ones that I haven't had a dream and it seemed like it was so vivid. Like if I went back to, you know, one of them has to do with my dad and I built this shed. It wasn't any ordinary shed though. It was kind of like a bi-level shed, but when you walk into it, this thing had a little room and he had a computer set up in there, and there was a spiral staircase that went to it upstairs, and Mom had a little sewing room type of deal up in the upstairs loft. There wasn't much from the way of windows in there. But it was so vivid. I kid you not, it was so vivid that I felt like if I went to my childhood home where I see these pictures of this thing, that it was there. And I know it's not. But I mean to tell you, they were so vivid. It's just stuff that you wouldn't think about, but somehow your mind has come up with these things, and then in the same instance, you have another dream that you could have sworn was real. That you were talking to a person or doing certain thing, and you wake up the next morning, well, I need to go do this. Wait a minute, that doesn't even exist. I've had dreams about a car that I had growing up, that I believe still exists, and I never sold it, and it got parked somewhere. And I went and picked the thing up and started driving it like it was yesterday. And that was 20, 30 years ago. But it was so vivid. And I'm like, why am I coming up with these old memories all of a sudden and these fantasy deals that to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense? Um, I guess it could be PTSD, Mike, but I've never had it. I don't know what it is. But again, it's one of those questions that, leaves me wondering, what do these mean? What do these visions and what do these dreams mean? Do they mean anything? Are they just, I wonder a lot of things. There's some personal things that I'm not going to get into on this platform, um, that really send my mind going all sorts of different directions. I don't know if it's supposed to be something that I'm supposed to feel that way, or is it supposed to be meant to push me in a different direction? That's the kind of questions that I've been kind of left with. Mike, I'd heard about uh, that story about the time travel. Um, it's have y'all ever seen that movie Contact with Jodie Foster in it? That's an excellent movie. Um, that that's one of those things that makes you wonder too. When I first seen the movie The Matrix, that actually got my mind going. What if this is a different world that we're in and we're just kind of puppets here? Which I know we are anyway. I mean, like I said, the good Lord has a plan for all of us. I mean, if he wanted to bring me home right now, I mean, I'd keel over right in front of y'all and you'd get to see it live on YouTube. Oh boy. Yeah, that was another really good movie, Mike, was The Butterfly Effect. For sure, that was a good movie. Um, there's been some really good movies out there that have just that actually get your mind working. I mean, really thinking about things. And sometimes they go on to your own dreams. You think about it or what you've been doing otherwise, and you think, oh well. Yeah, I mean, there's just blink, blink, blink. That's off in left field, Stephen. But one of our cats gets wet food and the other one gets dry. Well, they actually both eat dry, but our old cat Yoda, which I don't see her right now. She must be on the couch. Well, she could be in that chair behind me. But Yoda is the white calico that you see floating around here. She gets wet food. She'll go through usually 2 of the little cans of Fancy Feast. She'll go through at least 2 of those cans a day. Yeah, she likes the little Fancy Feast cans. You can get those about anywhere. They're about, I think they're 80 cents a can or something like that. But she tears them up, and she likes the cutlets with the gravy. There's only like 3 cans. Here comes the next rainstorm. 3 of the kinds in it. She won't eat the pate anymore, but she'll eat the chunky stuff with the gravy. She really likes that stuff. Doc, I want to tell you a true story. So as many of you probably know, I sleep with a CPAP machine, which, by the way, Philips is actually replacing my machine. I can't believe it. It was one of them that was recalled. But anyway, so I'm laying there in I'm laying there in bed, and I'm just about to sleep, and something, excuse me, something got my breathing out of whack, and it was kind of like it's almost like I had the when you breathe in, a lot of times if you got your mouth closed, of course it changes a flap or the way the air flows, and sometimes you get it where you open, or it'll go backwards through your system. Somehow I got on a loop like that, and I laid there, and I was awake, and I couldn't move. I could not. I tried to move my arm, tried to move my legs, tried to do nothing. My eyes were wide open, and I could not move. I couldn't do anything, and it scared the ever living shit out of me. I'm not lying. And I asked the doctor about that, and he said sometimes when you sleep, your brain wakes up before your body does. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, it's actually there's a term for it. I can't remember what he told me it was, but your brain actually wakes up before your brain tells your body to wake up. So it basically, you're in paralysis. And I was like, that was the scariest crap I've ever been through. The only thing that was scarier than that was doing a stress thallium test, where they actually killed you and brought you back to do a stress test on your heart. Yeah, I told the doc I will never do that again, because that's something else that scared the crap out of you. That is the worst feeling, just to feel your heartbeat stop, and they're right there to bring you back. That's interesting. Am I still live? Well, the timer just went. See, this is another one of those freaky things. So usually the timer up in the top corner counts how long you've been on. And it went, instead of going to 1 hour, it just rolled over like I started over. I'll be interesting to see if this whole video gets posted, or if they took it down. I'm kind of wondering if that was what happened. Well, I know I'm still live, but the counter says that that I started over. Let's see what the old phone says here. See if the phone says I'm live. Well, it says I'm live, but that's interesting. There's our next rainstorm. We have one of those Florida rooms on the back, is what they call them. But it's like one of those walk-in coolers. They use those kind of panels on for a roof. So when it rains on it, it's noisier and all get out. And we have to leave the back door cracked because that's where we got the cat boxes over out there. So anyway. Huh. Well, that's one of them freakazoid things there with the timer. Yeah, we've been getting a bunch of those lately, Doc. Weather's down here's been pretty active. I haven't had any real high winds yet, just a lot of rain. But according to my phone, it's supposed to rain all this next week. And pretty good chances, 70, 60, 70, 80% most of the days. So anyway, so there's a few little stories about your old boy Smitty here. That counter thing still bothers me. I bet they deleted half the video. What do you want to bet? Yeah, I heard that the fires are pretty nasty up north. Yeah, I've been trying to fix my dang fifth wheel for weeks, trying to get the landing gear fixed, and the weather's been kind of crappy and haven't really been so stinking hot. I actually got out there today and was able to work on it because the weather turned out nice after it rained this morning. So I got the right leg back up in there for the landing gear, and I took the left one out, and I fought like heck to get that one apart because it had got itself so tight that I couldn't get it to turn. And anyway, long story short, it took me about a half hour, 45 minutes to get the thing apart. It took me 10 minutes to fix it and put it back in. But anyway, I got the thing bolted in, then it started raining again. So Now, you couldn't have done a cheater pipe on this one, Mike, for sure. It's just the way it's designed. So, at any rate, well, fellers, I've really enjoyed tonight. I've needed to vent a little bit, and I know you guys are there to listen. I'm here to gab if you guys are willing to listen. So, anyway, take care, my friends. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you on the next live stream. Make sure to take care of yourself and each other. Give your loved ones a big hug and a squeeze. Tell them that you love them. And don't forget they're there. We'll see you on the next one. God bless you, and God bless America. Bye-bye.